I'm just flesh and bone, but more importantly, I'm a soul. And that soul is accountable to one being. I mean, I've had an unbelievably blessed life. Been doing this now, it'll be 12 years on June 5th.
Such a young man to do it.
So young.
Yeah, so praise God. I mean, I've been all across the world. I've met with world leaders. I've flown in Air Force One, got to know a president. I have an amazing family. The podcast, Turning Point USA, all that stuff. And so you experience that, and you're like, what actually matters? What matters is your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your family, your kids, and maybe a close collection of friends, and your relationship with the truth. I'm just...
Man. What's up, guys? Man, I would been holding it together until right now. Frickin' A. Today, like, a warrior for truth was assassinated by obviously a deranged human being, a psychopath, a crazy person. And in this video, we're going to talk a lot about him. But most importantly, Charlie was a guy that would debate people and not be afraid to like tussle with people. And so I think it's important to see what we're kind of up against in some ways. Understand what the other side is thinking. And seeing some of these sick reactions from the left in the assassination of Charlie Kirk that happened today at Utah Valley University during his Prove Me Wrong tour, where he passed away by a single bullet to the neck. And I don't know if you've seen the video. I strongly suggest you not look at the video. There's a video that's from far away, and there's a video close up. I think... it's like one of those things in our culture today that we don't factor in some of the traumatic responses that happen through some of these videos that we don't even realize is happening to us because we're so just kind of dead inside in some ways because the social media has just like killed that side of our brains that sometimes we forget when we see horrific events like this happen, that we forget to take note within ourselves of like, holy shit, I just watched something horrible happen today. And I think a lot of us probably saw that because you're probably like me. You're chronically online. You watch commentators. You watch people that talk. So it hits home for all of us in many different ways. It was gruesome. It was horrifying. But to be honest, it's not a shock. And that's the most depressing part. For those of us that have been paying attention, this doesn't feel random. This feels very like left-wing violence of stuff that they've been pushing online, and social media companies have just allowed these psychopathic leftards to be saying the most horrific, violent things online and getting away with it. You know, calling for actual violence and claiming that when a conservative says, like, I don't want trans people in a woman's bathroom, that's the same as calling for violence. It's not the same. Let's stop playing that stupid freaking game. I think a lot of us woke up today in a different way, and changed. This feels like a turning point. I mean, this is, I say, just as significant as Martin Luther King Jr. Being assassinated. It's definitely like Gen Z's, hero in a lot of ways, whether you like that or not. And again, Charlie Kirk wasn't some fringe extreme right-winger. That's the crazy part. You guys killed the nice guy. You guys went after the nice guy. The guy with the family that was not afraid to have a normal conversation, that didn't want to be violent, that wanted to pray with you, that wanted to talk with you. I mean, he was open to a lot of things. He was open to debate with anybody and everybody, while all of us and some other people were screaming like, you can't reason with these idiots. And he was like, I'm going to take the fight to the generation, and in a beautiful way. He was more of a moderate conservative in my eyes. Taking the fight to college campuses, exposing the radical left, one debate at a time, Even South Park just recently mocked him for it. And he took it, look, and he took it like on his chest, you know? Charlie Kirk, give him all the credit in the world. Even if you disagree with him, the fact that a guy can get made fun of like that on South Park and just like make it a meme out of it and enjoy it, man, that's when I know a man's a man. Like, if you can take a joke about yourself, I know we're dealing with a real human being. And Charlie Kirk, you just felt like he was a real person. You know what I mean? He's not like some of these commentators online where you're just like, is this guy even human? Does this person even have normal thoughts like me? Does he care about the same things I care about? Or is he just trying to push his grift down the hallway to make money off of me? You know, to use my emotions against me. Navy says Nick Fuentes, what I would have expected, but Charlie Kirk, 100%. And I apologize if I'm not like commentating back and forth. There's just stuff I need to get off my chest before we get into the more back and forth of this show. And I show you and I expose you some of these leftards and the things that they're saying, because I think it's important to see. Because Charlie Kirk literally died for this sort of thing. And I think it's disingenuous to not show you. Because I think it's a wake-up call for a lot of people. JDW says, my coworker saw it and effed him up. He's young too, poor guy. Dude, the video of Charlie Kirk being shot in the neck is incredibly gruesome. And you need to check in with yourself if you watched it. That's not one of those things that you just watch and you just keep scrolling. And if you watch that video of him getting shot in the neck and then you keep scrolling, dude, check in with yourself, bro. A lot of us guys, we like to process things a lot slower than women. That's just the reality. We're not very good with emotions. It's like you ask a guy, how are you doing today? Either good or bad. It's not like there's no feelings involved. And so a lot of us will just see something and scroll because we don't know how to deal with it. And we don't like the emotions that pop up in our minds to deal with it. But I would say check in with yourself. Have a conversation. I mean, I haven't cried about it until I started this show, because I think I've been trying to hold it together. I've been trying to like be, you know, a strong man or whatever shit. And it's just been hard, man. Rest in peace, one of Chicago's finest. On the days like today, Wilson says, I'm glad I found your channel a couple years ago. I feel like I can process this with a like-minded brother. Yes, dude. I hope you guys feel that way. I hope you guys feel like you can process this with me. It's like a back and forth. This channel has always been a community channel. It's not me just preaching to you. It's not me just preaching to you and then forcing you to give me super chats in order to talk to me. It'll never be that way. And I know that's annoying for some, because it's like, why don't you just do your show and get on with it? But I want to talk with you guys, man. This stuff freaking affects all of us. This stuff freaking affects all of us. Team Z crew cheered on stream. God, I hope not, dude. We need Americans to use the Second Amendment. We are decades overdue. I'm so angry too. And just also be aware that my emotions are all over the place. I had to check in with my own phone, and I had to like put my phone down a couple of times. I'm like, I'm not tweeting that. I need to relax a little bit before I get a phone like a knocking on my door. I mean, let's just be clear. This assassination did not happen in some sort of a vacuum. It didn't just happen in a vacuum. You and I have, like, we've been watching since Black Lives Matter exploded in 2020. Political violence has just continually ramped up. Riots that torched entire cities, ambushes on cops, and now targeting conservatives like Kirk. People are doxing ICE agents. I mean, people are calling for doxing of ICE agents, with the purpose of hopefully them being assassinated. That's what they want. Leftists posting homes of ICE agents and to invite attacks in. Just not too long ago, Tesla owners were having their cars smashed in, their lives ruined, all because Elon Musk decided to, use some money to help Donald Trump get elected. All of a sudden, these leftards hated green energy. You saw constant codes when Donald Trump got elected, the 8647. I saw that everywhere, 8647. And you think that rhetoric doesn't go anywhere? You think that there's not some psychopathic, schizophrenic, highly paranoid, somebody that's on their edge is going to use that as the final ammunition to go for something? the constant comparison of Donald Trump to being Hitler. You saw people calling Charlie Kirk basically Hitler. Charlie Kirk was like the teddy bear of the conservatives. If they can make that guy out to be Hitler, they can make you out to be Hitler. These leftards online are doxing every single person. Who is this person? Where do they work? What's their address? Let's find out who they are, with the hope of somebody showing up at their home. It's premeditated terror. And we've seen it constantly escalate. And I'm seeing all these dumb leftist accounts saying like, oh, this is Donald Trump's fault because of his rhetoric. Are you fucking kidding me? Donald Trump's rhetoric led to Charlie Kirk dying? Are you that stupid? And there's people that actually believe that because they're so deep within their own trenches, they have no capacity to look in the mirror and point the finger at them freaking selves. I apologize for cursing. I didn't even use that. The United Healthcare CEO being gunned down in September. And then you saw all these leftards, all these women just like fawning over this dude. Oh my God, he's so hot. So cool to see him go after and kill a CEO. I mean, just like crazy stuff. Just not too long, it was like a month ago, there was a t-shirt company that used a picture that looked like Luigi Mangione to sell shirts. And people were like, oh, I'm going to buy the shit out of that shirt. That shirt's sick. You see all these TikTok accounts just praising this dude. The left uses violence in order to shut you up. They want you to shut up. I also blame platforms. Platforms like X, platforms like Reddit, platforms like Blue Sky that just allow these cesspools to just build and grow. And then they go after right-wing accounts like it's Donald. Like if people just say like go MAGA or something, that's like, oh my God, that's an extremist. Then you have all these left-wing accounts just like praising this death of Charlie Kirk. That's freaking nuts. You guys are literally praising a murder and calling for violence on these platforms, and you get away with it because you're on the left. You see it on Twitch. Some of the biggest streamer, Hassan, has called for like somebody that's in politics to use something to end somebody's life, and he stays on the platform. He gets like 24-hour, kicked off for 24 hours, and people are like, oh my God, they're going after you. These leftards are allowed to say and do whatever they want. It's created an entire culture of killing conservative. Like there's a culture online of the left that killing a conservative is totally normalized. It's encouraged. I mean, I'm seeing TikTok after TikTok of like these leftards dancing about Charlie Kirk being dead, dancing, being excited. Like, if you just go onto TikTok, you go onto X, you just scroll for like a minute, you'll see it all. And I don't have every single person talking. I have some major accounts that I pulled up in regards to this. And what is the government doing? What's our FBI doing? If we find out that the FBI knew credible threats about this dude going out and was going to kill Charlie Kirk, if we find that out, I just feel like every single person is like, oh yeah, he was on our list. We were looking into it. It's a freaking death cult. Exactly. I heard the suspect was already released from questioning. Not sure how accurate. I'll get into that in a second. I mean, we have the Nashville shooter. We just had the Minnesota shooter. All verifiably, all like completely insane. Released to just roam around. You saw the entire defund the police movement meant to defund sanity. Now, craziness just completely runs wild. This recent attack by Irana Zarukska of a guy that was like arrested 14 times, and then you just allow him to roam. And now you're mad at people on the right by talking about this. I'm seeing leftards talking about how Charlie Kirk deserved this because he said that it's more important to have the Second Amendment right than it is that, some people are going to die or some crap. And they're like, oh, see, you deserve it. You get what you reap, man. You reap what you sow. This feels like a turning point in a lot of ways. This feels like, and not to be a pun, you know, a little turning point USA. God, this feels like a turning point. The people on the right, myself included, I'm a Christian. I've turned my cheek forever. Debating people, trying to honorably communicating back and forth, but you can't debate these bad faith actors. I just feel like it's no more for me. And I'm also worried that, you know, there are some people on the right that are going to want to even the scales. And so I think all these left-wing accounts that are praising this, they need to be careful. Because I don't see this like de-escalating. And the more that these leftards like double down on this rhetoric and like praising it, and it's like they deserve it and stuff like that, the worse it's going to get for all of us, including them. But they don't think they're going to be a part of it because they've been, you know, scot-free for so long. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Your voice, Charlie Kirk, exposed madness. Now your death completely screams it. How crazy the left is. Senseless, like assassinations, never used to happen. And now we're all getting used to it. But the left is completely violent. Amplified by spineless platforms that are complicit with the government, made this sort of thing completely inevitable for those of us that are chronically online and been paying attention. I wish they would actually lock up some of these people that are exposing these violent threats. I've never threatened anybody, and I don't plan on it. I'm not a violent person. Unless you threaten, you know, my loved ones, I don't become violent, even for myself. But if you threaten my loved ones, I turn into a whole different person. That's a different Derek. That's a ginger Derek that has been beat up a lot, but is not afraid to push back. This is a nuts time to be alive, guys. Book of Matthew talks about how you do not throw your pearls to swines. They are not worth our time. They're not at all. They're not at all. It is such a shame. Wilson says it's hard to feel radicalized over this. A middle-aged Christian white man, husband and father, exercising his First Amendment right, was killed before because of opinions. Exactly. Jessica said, I had to put my phone down. The people being happy about this was too much for me today. I totally agree. Jessica. I mean, I completely agree. It, like, I went to go work out after like reading through all this stuff, and it was hard for me to work out, but I was just like enraged working out, just like, what the hell is our society? How did we come to this point where people are mocking and enjoying a death of an individual? If somebody was to shoot Joe Biden, I would never celebrate that. But you see all these leftist accounts doing exactly that. Moment of silence? Yeah, we'll have one of those, sure. Because we found out today Democrats don't even want a moment of silence. We found out today that Democrats don't even want a moment of silence. So the shooting rang out, and apparently the guy was really far away. He was like 200 yards away. So here's where Charlie Kirk was around here. Charlie Kirk was around here. See my scroll. And then the shooter was all the way up here. So about 200 yards away. So guy that is definitely proficient in shooting. It makes you wonder who this guy is, who this person is. Everybody thought like this guy was the guy that shot Charlie Kirk, but it turned out not to be him at all. Just kind of a lunatic, local lunatic that people knew about. And this guy had nothing to do with it. And he was just screaming, I have the right to remain silent. And everyone just started doxing him immediately, of course. But he had nothing to do with it, apparently. Or maybe he was, a diversion. This guy on Fox News actually reported that was at the scene. This guy at Fox News actually reported that he thinks there might have been multiple people involved. And actually the guy that they caught wasn't the right guy, which was like such a crazy thing to see live on Fox News. Here's this guy talking.
I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharp shooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Zim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon, maybe a perfect person.
That's who he's talking about, the guy that they caught at the beginning.
To pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
Okay.
I followed them.
All right,
when
we're
they
going to go
took
to
him
Jason
the
Chaffetz.
trooper car,
That was crazy. That was a little crazy that Fox News cut away from that interview with this guy talking about how this guy wasn't actually the guy. Not the heart. They hit the vital artery. They hit it right in the throat. And I was talking to all my medical family members, and they're like, and as soon as I saw the video, they saw it too, and they were telling me, Derek, there's no way he's going to survive this. And if he does survive this shot, he's going to be brain dead or something, because you can't lose that much blood and just survive. So when I saw you just saw these counts going around saying Charlie Kirk's okay, and I was like, I don't think so, dude. That was really depressing to see those people kind of going through their own emotions. The politicians in Chicago are telling people to get ready to fight ICE and the National Guard when it goes to Chicago. They want violence. Yeah, of course they do. Rugasu, what's up? All they did was prove his points right. Charlie was trying to expose the lunacy of the left. Exactly. Joy Reid said the other day that she doesn't believe that President Trump was even shot at. See, it's just like stuff like that. It's just so ridiculous. Then there was this video being passed around a little bit today as well of this man being arrested. See, a lot of people are wondering and speculating if this is actually the guy. So people are starting to think, because they saw this guy getting arrested, and apparently there was a rifle on his vehicle that they were walking when they were locking him up. So that people think that might be the guy right there. I'm not totally sure.
I think they just found the guy right outside of Carry On. Rifle.
Could be the guy, or it could be just the guy with a rifle. Who knows at this point? But Kash Patel did came out and say the subject of the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities. And they won't tell us anything about this guy. They won't tell us anything. Donald Trump did make a statement regarding Charlie Kirk as well, which was nice to see, and is putting the flags at Half-Mast around the country. Charlie Kirk is obviously a huge figure. Even if you didn't watch him, you knew he was big.
Just a few moments ago before this show, I talked to the President of the United States on the phone. He had obviously already posted on Truth Social. He had said some other things, but did want to pass on something else publicly, and said I could pass this on. Quote, all of this violence cannot happen. Charlie Kirk was such an amazing guy. He really captured the youth, the imagination of the youth. He was an unbelievable patriot. He really convinced millions and millions of young people that MAGA was the way to go. Today is so sad. He was an amazing person who was not afraid to talk to and confront the other side, just talk to them, debate them, and explain why they were wrong and MAGA was right. Nobody was better. It's such a tragic day.
Just another crazy quote that I was looking up the other not too long ago was talking about how when dialogue or public discourse is no longer viable, violence is inevitable, and that really hit home for me. That's a scary thought. I hope they do have the crazy in custody. Apparently they do. We'll see what actually happens. Pepe says, watch tomorrow. The Mockingbird news narrative will be Lone Wolf, probably. Yeah, I don't know what conspiracy to get into at the moment. I'm not even thinking about that at the moment. I'm just like trying to like cope and process what actually just happened today. This is like one of these events that in life that you just can't. It doesn't feel real, you know. It feels like if this is a simulation, can we reset it? Can we get a reset? Wilson says, whoever shot him is proficient in firearms. Sitting at 200 yards away isn't difficult with minimum military training. Yeah. I think that's a crazy shot. I mean, and just goes on to like think about like Dylan Roof and trying to take out Trump and how crazy that could have been. This one won't get washed away. Oh, I totally agree. So Donald Trump has decided to put all the flags in order to be the flags to be at half-mast today, which is nice. That's a nice touch. And Greg Gutfeld, I think, like literally is all of us today in a lot of ways. He even said the F word on Fox News. You know, I said the F word, okay? I don't even curse on this show, and it came out, okay? I apologize. Okay, hold on. Here is Greg Gutfeld talking about what actually happened today.
Yeah, I know that it's somewhat object of mockery to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers for his family.
Yeah.
They need it from all of
Dude.
us. And
that's the thing that like starts really tearing me up, man. You know, this isn't some single dude. This is a dude with kids and a wife and 2 young kids, very young kids, and they were at the event. You know, and stuff like that. I can't imagine having a father that was assassinated by somebody. You know, think about the things that family's going through right now. Think about his wife today posted a Bible verse about, you know, facing darkness and praising the Lord still. And imagine being, you know, one of these kids at this event. Devastating.
somewhat object of mockery to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers for his family. They need it from all of us. And Jesse's right. If they could do this, they are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message. It's really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type.
No.
But if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down,
right,
you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
And we will.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You really did wake us up. BKL says the fake media will probably say the lone wolf and not mention that there have been calling for President Trump, Hitler, and a threat to democracy. All other news BS. Yeah, they'll probably use like mental health is what they'll probably use. They'll probably say the guy was mentally deranged or something. You know, you're seeing all these leftards also talk about how like we've been advocating for gun restrictions and stuff like that, and so this is your fault. It's like, yeah, okay. But you guys aren't going to take any accountability for the language in which you use that radicalize your base. You're not going to take any accountability. You're just going to point the finger and say, well, Donald Trump has forced me to say that he's Hitler. Okay, no. Jessica says, he was only a few years older than my child. Oh, God. That's crazy. That's hard to think about. The devil is a Democrat. Yeah. The FBI director wanted to remind everybody in Utah that Utah does have the death penalty.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Okay. Of course it is. I mean, it's not some random event. It's calculated. You can't shoot from somebody from that far away and it be like some random event. This was a calculated, deeply thought out assassination.
We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
That this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life.
Yeah.
And today, a life was taken.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to 2 young children.
Yeah.
He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, Our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for letting me know about that, BKL. I just saw right now that the FBI director just put out a tweet saying that the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues and will continue to release the information in interest of transparency. So the shooter is apparently still out and about. Now, that is crazy. And Donald Trump also just did this Oval Office message. We'll check in on this, too. He just addressed the nation regarding Charlie Kirk from his Oval Office.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
Yeah.
Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
Yeah.
To share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
100%.
This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died. The values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Yeah.
An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Yeah. JDW says there's a video of Democrats in Congress yelling at the moment in silence. Yeah, I have that. Absolutely sick. I can't imagine how psycho the left would be if things were switched around. Oh, 100%. It's like, these leftists are just cosplaying violence, and I don't like they don't. That's why the government needs to step in and do something, and go after these people that literally call for threats. And if they are a threat and they're making threats like these sorts of things, people should actually do something instead of like winking and nodding. You know, it's not freedom of speech if you're like literally calling for violence. Jessica says the ones who listened to this are not listening. They're making TikToks. Oh, the ones who need to listen to this are not listening. They're making TikToks. That is true. That is true. I just pulled up like all the left-wing like attacks since 2020, not just starting with George Floyd and how many like millions of dollars and how George Floyd protests had, so like if we just look up some of these left-wing attacks that I pulled up, absolutely crazy. Something to think about. I was just thinking of all the left-wing attacks. May through August 2020, 25 people were killed during that time. People don't talk about how like people died during that time. Portland killing of the Patriot Prayer member that was just assassinated by an Antifa member. Portland federal courthouse attacks. 100 nights of just complete unrest. Attempted assassination of Justice Kavanaugh. I completely forgot about that. Where that guy broke into Kavanaugh's house and tried to assassinate him. The attack on Representatives Lee Zeldin. Atlanta City Cop City protests in 2023 where 23 people were arrested. And Molotov cocktails were thrown. Ambush on ICE agents in Texas in 2024. Assassination of Trump's on Trump 24 through 25. Murder of United Healthcare CEO. Firebombing of Pennsylvania governor's mansion. I completely forgot about the firebombing of him doing that. Murder of Israeli ambassadors. I completely forgot about that. Dude, see, this is how, like, life, you just forget about these things. Attacks on ICE agents and police doxing. Yes, we talked about that. Minnesota lawmakers attack. I completely forgot about that. The guy that worked with Tim Walz. Assassination on Charlie Kirk. I mean, just to name a few. Just to name a freaking few. Okay, here's the video that everyone's talking about where these politicians attempted to have some sort of moment of silence, some sort of like semblance, coming together as a nation. This is not what Democrats want, though. Just another reminder that these Demtards, these leftards, they don't want peace. Like, they hate Charlie Kirk. They hate you. They hate you. I mean, they hate you. And if you die, it's like good. They just enjoy it. And so when Mike Johnson is calling for like a moment of peace, a moment of silence, and they can't keep themselves accountable and have a moment like this, like they hate Charlie Kirk so much that even when he's dead, they're gonna like use his death for political purposes and to somehow swing it on to their side to make them look good. It's absolutely sick. I mean, here's the moment of
Chair would
silence.
ask that all members present in the chamber and those in the gallery please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family.
So it started off quiet. And now they can't help themselves.
what purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Let's wait a minute.
Somebody just dropped an F-bomb. Okay. I think that was Representative Luna asking for prayers for Charlie Kirk's family and stuff like that, and they were not having it. Arukasu said, just for posturing, is there a list of right-wing violence? Is it even comparable? Although they'll talk about January 6th, where no one died, except for cops after the fact happened, where there were suicides, and there was a guy with a heart issue that went to the hospital. So I guess you can count that if you want. That's not even close. And they would probably also talk about Gretchen Whitmer when there was like a plot against her, but it was really these FBI agents that were enticing these group of men, and nothing actually happened. So I can't think of any other right-wing extremists. I don't know. Maybe you guys could help me in the chat. Right-wing extremists, they think language is violence. So
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order.
They can't even have it. Even even my queen right there, her name is blanking. She's like, can't believe it. Who tells everyone to get in the faces of everyone. God, what's her name? I'm blanking. Let's not forget when Chuck Schumer said that the Supreme Court would reap the whirlwinds for a decision that went against the Dems. Their language is crazy. The Confederacy dunces. Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's check in on some of our elected officials and some of their responses. I think Nancy Mace started to come out. And I think the craziest thing was Nancy Mace was asked about this interaction of Charlie Kirk and her thoughts on that. And then this like stupid reporter out of nowhere started saying the Minnesota shooter that shot the school. They're trying to say the Minnesota shooter that shot up the school was a right-wing extremist. What? The guy that said wrote F Trump on his firearm? The guy that's like completely anti-God? That guy? Okay, no.
I'm going to say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. All the kids of every conservative in the country called panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then, by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota?
By that, Mr. Debate Bro coming in hot with his pink tie. Mr. Debate Bro coming in hot. By that logic, does Republicans own what happened in Minnesota? What? How? Do you even read the news? Do you even know who you're talking about? Do you even know anything about the shooter? Or are you just saying that because you're trying to like win over and have this moment? What an idiot. But by that logic, excuse me, there's a illogical fallacy.
Emotional damage.
There's an illogical fallacy I need to report to the government. You just said something illogical.
Speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then, by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota? Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking
We
you a
don't
serious
know what
question.
condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking
not
you.
at all.
You said the Democrats have owned it too. But I'm asking,
Democrats own this.
But isn't there a problem with
this.
political violence across the spectrum?
Yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. That's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this.
I'm pretty sure. Where'd you get your information from, bro? The View? Ashley Babbitt. Oh, thank you. Ashley Babbitt died on January. See, my brain is broken today. Thank you, BKL. That is the one person that died. by not. I wouldn't consider that due to right-wing extremists, though. Maybe that's why I didn't factor that in. Dude with the wig is her name, I think. Yeah, that is true. Wait, what is her name? Dude with the wig. Dude looks like a lady. Burr. I know she's from Georgia. What's her name? I don't know. I'm blanking. Okay, then MTG also had something to say regarding Charlie Kirk. Man, she's short.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's something that a lot of us were talking about on the House floor. I've got some of the most death threats in Congress, but today really isn't about me. And I think I'm just keeping my focus on Charlie's wife and his 2 young children, and of course his family and the whole Turning Point USA family. And it's the worst thing, shocking. And everyone's really devastated. My children are dead.
Rosie O'Donnell said a MAGA guy shot up church. Oh, yeah. Didn't she apologize for that or something? Who listens to Rosie O'Donnell besides making fun of her? I mean, she's like, is she even funny anymore? Not even close to these type of victims there anyways. That's true.
Just everyone I've known. There really aren't words.
Can you speak to his importance to the conservative movement, to your own political rise?
I really think what was great about Charlie Kirk, and I was just telling Tia this, is he would go
Maxine
on
Waters,
campuses
thank you.
and tell young people to get married and have children, and just talk about how wonderful it is to be married and have children. He shared the Word of God. He was a Christian, and he shared the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he encouraged young people. And he also would have debates on ideas on college campuses, which, I mean, that's our First Amendment, and college campuses have always been a place for that.
True.
And I believe today he was killed for the words that he says and the things that he stood for. And
it would only make logical sense.
We're honestly shocked. We're devastated, shocked, and angry. And those are just natural feelings.
How close were you to him?
Charlie Kirk was a friend. He was a good friend. I spoke at many of his events over the years. Knew him when he was a lot younger, and I mean, he's not much older than my oldest daughter, but I just think it's really, honestly, horrific.
What kind of legacy does he leave behind to the conservative movement?
Charlie Kirk leaves a huge legacy. It's going to be hard for anybody to fill his shoes.
Yeah.
It was extremely important. Students all over the country would get very excited if they found out he was coming to their college campus. He brought in thousands of people to hear him speak. Even people that didn't agree with him would come, ask questions, even argue with him. He was always about the debate, and Charlie Kirk was never for violence. And to see him murdered in such a graphic way in front of the camera, and that video is too gruesome. Honestly, I hope it gets taken down.
I hope it gets taken down too. Seeing that video, I mean, I can't imagine being a kid and having that video up of your dad. Rosie O'Donnell is the first female lol cow. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, here's Luna talking about the call for prayer and then the Democrats not having anything to do with it.
The fact that we asked for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk, and then the Democrats decided at that point in time to try to shout that down. First and foremost, Charlie Kirk is now pronounced deceased. He was murdered. I don't know anything about the suspect yet. I think everyone's waiting to hear that, but that type of rhetoric is the exact type of rhetoric that got him killed. So to be clear, we should have been allowed to pray for Charlie. I would encourage the speaker to go back tomorrow and let us pray on the floor for Charlie Kirk's family now and the rest of the people that have been impacted by this terrible loss.
You said they caused this.
Most certainly, yes, they did cause it. That type of rhetoric, you calling people fascists, you basically saying that we're Nazis, take away people's rights. Charlie Kirk was literally murdered, and you can see that footage online. And I would encourage people, instead of sharing that, please share pictures of his family and the legacy that he left.
Congressman, when he recruited you to politics, can you talk a little bit about your early experience with Mr. Kirk?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to medical school, and he convinced me that politics would be a better option. So we'll help continue that fight and forward the movement.
Crazy. What's up, Yakobed? Not a good evening, but hello, nothingness. Yeah, 100%. He was the best sport of the debate, man. Yeah, he was a great debater. Wilson says, I got off social media today. Just thought I'd come over here to YouTube and get a hug. Hey, man. Love you, man. Love you, Wilson. You're a good dude. If you make peaceful debate impossible, you will make violent debate inevitable. There it is. There it is. I'm seeing a lot of different versions of that within myself and looking into it. Matt Walsh goes out to say, I'm totally devastated. Charlie was a friend and a good man. I was always worried it would come to this eventually. I never thought it would be Charlie. He will be dearly missed. I'm praying for his family. Do we even listen to these psychopaths? Yes, we have to. God. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing of this. But here's Native American herself, Elizabeth Warren.
This is just wrong. And my heart goes out to his family, to his friends. But we just cannot be a country that turns to violence when we disagree. We just can't.
What can Congress do about it, Senator?
Well, one thing Congress can do is...
What can Congress do about it? Talk about guns.
Gun safety.
Oh.
And every time there's a killing, the Republicans say this is not the time to talk about gun safety. And yet we have to. As a nation, we have...
Okay, so she goes on for 4 minutes to talk about how we need to pass gun legislation and stuff like that. Again... They don't actually want to take accountability for the things that come out of their freaking pie holes. They don't want to actually take accountability for, hey, maybe I shouldn't call Donald Trump Hitler. You know, it was an all good sport, and it was a political talking point that was really working out really well for me and my Democrat friends by calling them Hitler, because it really, really riled up our base. But after thinking about it for a minute, we should probably not do that.
Professor Etonium super chatted $4.99.
Hey.
Thanks for doing this, bro. Free speech seems like a rare earth metal these days.
Yeah, true. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Professor. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Definitely, I'm not going to monetize this video or anything in honor of Charlie, but like I appreciate that $5 super chat. And we're going to have AI Donald Trump sing a song about that. I don't know how people feel about that, but that's just the reality. I don't have control over it anymore. Thank you, Professor. I appreciate you, my guy. She sounds so fake. Oh, I know. You want to see fake? Look at AOC. Look how animated she's going to get regarding this issue. Man, these people get hyped up about gun confiscation. As if like a criminal is not going to find an illegal gun. Oh, you mean everywhere I walk to these days, no one has guns? Oh, awesome. Oh, here we go.
Thanks for doing this, bro. Free speech seems like a rare earth metal these days.
Sing it, Trump.
All right, let me tell you something, folks. Professor Rytonium, you're talking about free speech being a rare earth metal?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, nobody knows more about rare earth metals than I do.
Oh, really?
Nobody.
Oh.
I've got the best rare earth metals, believe me.
Is that true?
The biggest, the best, the rarest.
Okay.
But free speech?
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Wow.
Free speech is like a big, beautiful, gold-plated wall.
True.
A wall that separates the real Americans from the snowflakes and the blurgles. But hey, I appreciate the super chat, Professor. $4.99, not bad at all. But next time, why don't you make it a little bigger?
Oh my God, dude. $4 is plenty. $4.99 is plenty. Thank you so much. AI Trump can be a jerk these days. That was a nice message from Trump. Those freaking blurgles. I didn't even know that was a word, but I learned something new today. Remember when Trump State of the Union addressed the Democrats would even stand for the poor kid who had been fighting for brain cancer for years? Yes. They're psychos, dude. Yakobet says, now it's time to talk about the language we use. He's a Nazi. He's a transphobe. He's a ist. How are these not all calls to violence? Yeah, good call. Yeah, it's all calls. Language is violence. Okay, here's AOC.
I mean, I think...
Bitch made me go... Bitch, make me a margarita. Yeah, AOC. I'm glad we're still able to laugh.
I mean, I think what has just transpired is tremendously disturbing.
You just know these people are so fake when they're talking about Charlie. I can't believe. Spare me your acting empathetic voice that you learned from acting school. Ooh, how do you be empathetic? Ooh, talk very somberly.
It is the latest evolution instance of political violence in the United States, and it must end.
You can hear somebody in the background saying, "You guys are fueling political violence. You guys are fueling political violence." I don't know if you could hear that.
Regarding the political environment, what message do you have here?
They want to talk about the Second Amendment so they can take away the rest of... Dude, if anything, this is a time that everyone should have, like, more firearms, you know?
Fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment and the...
Like, we're the ones that are saying, like, we want police in the streets to make the streets safer. We want more police at school. We want more, active guards at schools, interventions. And they're like, no, that's dangerous. It's bad. You're like, how? She's holding back her excitement. It kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
Beyond rhetoric, we need to talk about action.
Oh, here we go.
We need to talk about, yes, there are words, but
how tall are these people? How tall is AOC?
Most importantly, we are in a job of leadership. We are in a job of action. We are in a role and a position where the American people are looking to us to do something about this. And every single day, people are dying due to gun violence in America, and every single day there are people in this building that continue to vote against doing
She has an
anything.
erection.
They vote against universal background checks. They continue to support legislation and also remove any way to block the mentally ill, to block extremists, to block people with histories and records of domestic violence from getting guns in their hands. So are we going to do something about this or not? We have a political...
I love that they're like, conservatives are blocking background checks. We have background checks. God, it's like, these people have never bought a gun by themselves. You can't just go online and purchase a weapon and it show up to your door like Amazon. Just like, God. We need more. Stay strapped. I am strapped, dude. Yeah, that goes for any leftard that wants to come to me. I am always strapped. Always. I am always strapped. Like, I have a concealed permit on purpose. I don't mess around with that crap, dude. I've never had to use it and I don't want to, but just know that.
Assassination that happened at the same time as a school shooting where children are dying.
Okay, so she is on her little tangent. I don't know if a lot of people know this. There was actually a school shooting today as well in Colorado, in Evergreen. 3 kids are wounded. So thankfully no kids have died. But that happened today as well. If AOC is removing 2A, she's gonna pull out them guns first. Oh my God. Yakobed, you can't. I'd love to join your stream whenever. Yeah, you come on, whatever. I don't even know who you are, but I want you on my stream. You're scared, but her security need to have automatics 100%. I pawned a gun once and had to do a background check to get my own gun back. Yeah, dude, you have to do a background check. Ask Hunter Biden about background checks. If Hunter Biden has to do a background check, you do. Even JD Pritzker decided to make this whole situation about Trump somehow. Swill says, oh, they're going for the problem, reaction, and solution approach. I love to see her O-Block where the inner city folk in Chicago can materialize a full auto. Exactly. If you watch any, like I just watched, Tyler Oliveira or something. I forget his last name, but he just did a video not too long ago about like Detroit crime. And there was all these dudes walking around with fully automatics. I'm like, where are you finding these guns? Because I want to buy one. Where? So if these like 18-year-old black kids can somehow find 18-year-old black kids that probably don't have cars, that live live in the hood, I don't know how much money they're rolling with, and they're able to buy fully autos, and you think like background checks or red flag laws is going to stop this? Okay. Derek takes phones sometimes also. I'll take your phone. Sorry, I got to laugh where I can. Yakobed, you're allowed to laugh, man. Some of us process differently. This is just Democrats using guns to spin a horrible event into some propaganda. Yes, 100%. They don't have to show empathy for a Republican. 100%. That's a way of saying I don't need to show empathy. Look, I don't have to show empathy. I don't have to show empathy towards Charlie Kirk because I've been fighting for gun legislation. It's like, okay, that sounds crazy. So you're not going to take anything from that? Derek takes phones, sometimes also voicemails, my bad. Oh, I do. Did you leave me a voicemail or something? I haven't got a voicemail in a minute. So.
My sympathy to...
Here's J.D. Pritzker on his quote-unquote sympathy towards Charlie Kirk.
My sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know.
Yeah. Well, we're not totally sure if it's political violence. Charlie Kirk has become a target for somebody. Like they can't even manufacture this empathy. He's been a target for somebody. For a lot of people.
Target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country.
Oh, why?
We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And
what other political violence? Say it. You're just saying these things now.
Occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
It's Donald Trump's fault that Charlie Kirk got shot. What are you even talking about, dude? What are you even talking about? I think the president is fomenting it. It's the president's fault that Charlie Kirk got shot. God, their logic. And leftists actually believe that, by the way. That is not like some fringe idea. I saw it all today.
This country, I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence.
Oh, yeah. Political violence started at January 6th. God. How about BLM riots? That wasn't riots. That was the voice of reason. A lot more people die under Pritzker's watch. Oh, yeah. He's like the proponent of violence, dude. Dude, can you imagine? This guy wants to run for president. J.D. Pritzker wants to run for freaking president. Can you imagine like running a state that's that horrible on crime? And you think, yeah, I'm going to run for president. No, that's a dumb thing. You're not doing good things. Illinois, Chicago isn't a beautiful place to live because of things you've done. I can't wait for National Guard to take this state. Yeah, me too. All right, let's get into the most psychopathic things. Okay. MSNBC. Dear God, MSNBC. These people are evil. They're horrible. They're not human. They're disgusting. And their responses are almost comical how horrific they are. Listen to this from MSNBC talking about Charlie Kirk. MSNBC deserves a Pulitzer for making the worst things to be said after a death like Charlie Kirk.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
We don't know for sure if this is a supporter shooting his gun off. This is the deep thoughts that come from MSNBC. This is like the deep thoughts that come from MSNBC. And they weren't done. They weren't done when it comes to Charlie Kirk. MSNBC had to issue an apology from this video right here.
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
MSNBC had to post sorry. Statement from MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler says, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Get this. Let me make sure you can see all that. During our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. It's like, what?
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in the...
Yeah, if I could just follow it up, he's incredibly divisive, so he had it coming. Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's what it sounds like. Charlie Kirk is divisive? Dude, if Charlie Kirk is divisive, we're all screwed.
This, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always...
This hate speech. What hate speech? What did he say that was so hateful? Say it. You can't. You're just saying talking points. At the death of some guy that has a wife and 2 young kids, you can't even have a moment of mourning. They just jump right on it. This guy was hateful. This guy had hate speech. This guy had said hateful things. The previous clip. It was probably some guy just shooting in celebration of Charlie Kirk. What?
Speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words.
Look at him smiling as he says it. You're right. Look at him smiling. Look at this guy smiling. He thinks this is like such an amazing point. I always go back to the old saying that my father once taught me when I was a young schoolboy and I was working through my problems myself. Hateful thoughts equal hateful fart. Like, it's just like...
lead to... And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Is that what you go back to? Interesting, because I feel like what you're saying now is pretty hateful. So, by your own logic, it feels pretty hateful to me, bro. Feels pretty hateful to me. Oh, I'm allowed to be hateful towards Charlie Kirk because he's like a Nazi and stuff. So, I could say whatever I want. God. I mean, you don't hate these people enough. Fire MSNBC. Having your logic collapse / feelings hurt is not hate speech. Exactly. We apologize and wrote him $1 million bonus. Yeah, I know. He's out on paid leave. He's on an island. He's on an all-inclusive resort right now, really thinking about his statements. His wife should sue. I hope. I'm sure she's not even thinking about that right now. If you don't agree with them, they hate you. Yeah, and if you don't agree with them, you're considered what you're saying is hate speech. Who's this jackass? It is Matthew Dowd, and this guy is not endowed. God, that was stupid. I hate myself for that. Okay, but it didn't end. It didn't freaking end. It didn't end with MSNBC. Okay, it gets worse. It gets worse. So instead of like mourning about Charlie Kirk or having a moment of silence or anything like this, or having a sort of reflection moment of maybe we need to tone down the rhetoric because maybe we're contributing this sort of violent action and stuff like that by calling Donald Trump Hitler and calling Charlie Kirk Hitler and calling the white supremacy the biggest problem in America, you know, these sorts of things. They didn't decide to have that moment. Instead, they decided they're worried about who the next Charlie Kirk is going to be. They're so worried that somebody else is going to become Charlie Kirk by this happening.
Because as we were just talking about a moment ago with Alan, After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops.
Oh, wait, this is the clip about Donald Trump using. So they're worried about Donald Trump using this horrific event for what? What do you see happening? I thought you wanted to clamp down on guns. No? Oh, so Donald Trump used a horrific event that happened to one of his people that he hires to work under Doge, which actually did happen. And then he clamped down on D.C., making D.C. a safer place for all citizens, which a normal human being would enjoy that actually lives in that city and has to deal with that crime and infestation of criminals and constantly being let out. She's worried of that, like, Donald Trump's going to use this. He hasn't yet.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
They're worried about the Donald Trump administration is going to use this for something. I know what you're alluding to. You're trying to say that Donald Trump, and this is just, this is me guessing. I don't know this for a fact. Attention lawyers. But you're alluding to Donald Trump using this for something horrible, aren't you? Thus, continuing down the rhetoric that people on the right are fascist and Nazis, and this is like a good thing that things like this happen, right? Is that what you're saying? Certainly feels that way.
I must admit I'm at a loss to guess as to what happens next. But Kirk,
I'm at a loss that happens at what happens next. I'm at a loss of words. Okay, this is where it gets weird. Okay, this is what I was talking about before, and this is the point where MSNBC decides, we're worried about who the next Charlie Kirk's going to become, who the next Charlie Kirk will be. Now that this Charlie Kirk's dead, who's the next Charlie Kirk? We really need to get a research on that immediately and make sure that they're doing as much research as possible to figure out who the next Charlie Kirk is going to be, so we can start demonizing that guy. You don't hate these people enough. They're absolutely insane. They're nuts. They're crazy. And MSNBC is part of the problem, and they don't even know it, and they can't even realize it. And my freaking boomer parents, on one side of my family, watches MSNBC. It's depressing. What kind of consequences or actions our side will suffer? I have no idea. That's a great question. She said that the Doge guy was allegedly attacked. I know. She can't even admit it actually happened. She can't even admit it. Freaking Big Balls was attacked. You don't attack my big balls like that. Okay, but here's her worrying about who the next Charlie Kirk's going to be.
People are really upset, and they start lashing out online, and they start blaming others for what led up to this. And
stuff that you do when stuff like this happens. Stuff like that, stuff that you guys do. But as soon as it's crazy, when the right wing starts doing a little bit similar actions as the left wing, that's when they get nervous. Very interesting.
Lashing out online, and they start blaming others for what led up to this. I mean, we see it when Democrats are targeted. We see it when Republicans are targeted. And we're seeing it with this. Anna Paulina Luna, who's a representative from Florida, has put this out on X. She's blaming the Democrats. She's blaming the rhetoric the Democrats use it.
Yeah, and we don't want to actually have any kind of remorse or accountability for any of our actions whatsoever. Dude, if my rhetoric caused somebody to do something, I would have some remorse or accountability because, I don't know, I'm a human.
Use calling Republicans fascist. She's saying you are the hate. If you're in the FBI field office and you see this sort of stuff bubbling up online, how worried do you get about somebody taking up the cause of Charlie Kirk?
What the f***? She's sad? Yeah, that's such a fake sadness, isn't it? How worried are you of someone taking up the cause of Charlie Kirk? What the frick, dude? What the frick, dude? What the frick, dude? What the frick, dude? How worried are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you?
See this sort of stuff bubbling up online. How worried do you get about somebody taking up the cause of Charlie Kirk and lashing out on somebody who's seen as a Democrat or somebody who is?
Oh God, I just want to like end existence after that. Let's reset the simulation, dude. What the freak, dude? How do you watch a show like this as an adult and think, yeah, I'm adulting right now. I'm adulting. This is how adults process horrible events. Scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the next Charlie Kirk being Charlie Kirk? What if the next Charlie Kirk is better than Charlie Kirk? The horror. The horror. MSNBC should be sued to oblivion. They should be taken down. I thought you guys were the cool new thing. Didn't you guys change your name to MS Now? You guys were supposed to be like a genuine news program with genuine voices. We're not MSNBC. We're MS Now. We're Muscular Dystrophy Now. God, you guys are sick. She's already looking for an scapegoat, dude. I'm telling you, like these liberals, these leftards, they're trying to figure out their next target already. That's how serious they are about winning and power. They're so concerned about power slipping. They're so concerned about like this emboldening more Republicans. Oh no. Oh no, the Republican base might get a little bit stronger, as opposed to just being like, wow, this is really effed up and really sad. And we should all take a moment of reflection for us about ramping down the political language and violence and maybe some of the rhetoric that comes out of our mouth holes. Maybe we should take a moment of silence for our own mouth holes. Like, no, let's ramp it up. Let's find the next Nick Fuentes. Let's find the next. Who do we go for next? Nick Fuentes? Is that who we're going for next? We're going for Nick Fuentes? Okay, let me show you some of the online. I told you I was going to show you some of this. I'm not going to talk for very long about these sort of things, but I need you to know that these people are real. And I need you to know that these people aren't just small accounts. You know, there are accounts with 50,000 followers. There are accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers. There are accounts that get 29,000 likes on sort of things. There are accounts that that push hate speech, the thing that they propose to be against. There are accounts that are glowing today due to Charlie Kirk dying. And it's important to know this sort of thing. I know it's not like a lot of people are like, Derek, how could you even talk about these sorts of people? You need to know what they're thinking. Because if you're calling for like tampering down of language or you're calling for peace and the other side is like, no, we want more blood, you're not going to have peace. You need to know what your enemy is thinking. So Derek goes on to say, terrible name. God, Derek, fuck. Derek, change your name. He goes on to say, here's my thoughts on Charlie Kirk. He's a fascist, spreads hate, racism, bigotry, misinformation, gets shot. Reap what you sow. Derek, you're a piece of shit. Look at you. Wait. Oh my God. Nice picture. They cheat buying subs. Oh, I know, Michael. Oh, trust me, Michael. Trust me, Michael. I know some of these large accounts don't have these numbers on some of these videos. Or some of these commentators or some of these X accounts. I'm just like, nothing you're saying is interesting. How are you getting this many likes? You're buying likes. There's no chance. I would promise you guys this. I will never buy subs or likes ever. He's definitely gay, probably. Okay, look at this left-wing idiot. He goes on to say, saw the shit and started giggling, kicked my feet and shouting, yo, it's like World Star. Okay, there's another tweet. And this is a left-wing idiot. Bot farms are real. Oh, 100%. 100%. The crazy thing is that people were thinking that this guy might actually be the shooter at some point. Omar says, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone doesn't evaporate him literally. And then he goes on the post, just let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. And then he turns out, it goes on to say, Charlie Kirk got shot. Bro, I promise I didn't have anything to do with this, but I called it. It's so effing deserved. No remorse. You know, no remorse in these sorts of people. No remorse whatsoever. You hear my dog, she's very excited. Okay, and now let's go on to TikTok. Let's go to TikTok. How is TikTok responding to Charlie Kirk's assassination? A fascist got shot for free speech. Damn, what a crazy world. Yeah, exactly. Jeez. Okay, here's TikTok.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Okay, so there's some TikToks where people are just celebrating it. Redditors, of course, are celebrating this. If you go into ToiletPaperUSA, a very leftist site, saying two in the thoughts and one in the prayers. That's funny, but also very disgusting to actually say. Video makes it look like this is serious life-altering. Let's go. Hopefully, let's take comfort in the fact that this proves he was right all along. The answer really is a good guy with a gun. Spew the violence and hate. You reap what you sow. Mods, please add a bullet hole to the subreddit icon. If you call for the extermination of people long enough, someone will finally stop it. I mean, these people are just celebrating these sorts of things. And this person was honestly one of the... Was your dog singing Soulja Boy? I think so. You! Freaking Huskies, dude. They can't shut up. They always talk. Especially girls. I have a girl doggy. John Miller goes on to tweet, given that everyone is okay, ... If you can't laugh at Charlie Kirk being allegedly shot at an event in Utah, politics just isn't for you. What a piece of shit. What a terrible human being. What a terrible human being. John, congratulations. You are a piece of shit. You're a terrible human being, John Miller. With hundreds of thousands of followers and a big podcast. Isn't that wonderful to say these sorts of things? People took a screenshot of it because he did, in fact, take it down. So he thought about it for at least 2 seconds and thought, I should take this down. And I grabbed it just in time. Okay, here's some more leftards reacting to Charlie Kirk. Just another remind you, these are real people and they're really excited about death. They're a death cult.
Breaking news, Charlie Kirk was in the neck. As of right now, I think his condition is unknown. And there are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people. So on behalf of everybody else, I got this shit. I don't know if he's gonna make a recovery or not. I don't know what his condition is. It just happened as I'm filming this. I saw the video of it happening. I do not feel bad for him in the slightest, and I'm very, very much wondering what MAGA is going to react with. I wonder how they're going to make this about how black people shouldn't be allowed guns, or trans people. They're probably going to blame a trans black person. I don't fuck. But we can all celebrate because something...
Yeah, because if that's a shooter, then we're going to blame it? Yeah.
Something really awful happened to a really, really awful guy. And again, if you're one of those dipshit people that are like, no matter what happens, you should never wish death on someone. I'm gonna cheer and dance and sing. Thank you very much.
God. Can you imagine thinking you're the good guy? It's a mental illness, 100%. The party of love. It's just like, can you guys have any self-reflection for 1 second and just think, am I a good guy? Am I on the good team? Am I thinking rightly? Do I have any morals? No self-reflection whatsoever. To be challenged on her own self-reflection would require her to no longer be affirmed in her own beliefs. Therefore, she would be challenged, and that would be seen as hate speech. Challenging mental illness is hate speech. But I am loving those lip rings. They're like little blackheads on your lip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 piercings. And did you have to show your cleavage in this shot? We didn't want to see that. We didn't want to see that. I don't feel bad for her being ugly as hell. Miguel. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, here's another leftist account. Zelly goes on to say, Charlie Kirk isn't a martyr. He's a casualty of the violence he incited. What are you talking about? What violence did Charlie Kirk incite? Hey, these people, okay, if you think Charlie Kirk is inciting violence, you should be institutionalized. Straight up, you should be institutionalized and sent to a re-education camp. Put these people in China. God, you think he's inciting violence? It's just depressing to see that these people are real. Okay, and here's another psychopath talking about Charlie Kirk's death. Absolutely insane. Literally 2 herpes. Yeah. You nailed it. Without self-reflection, they're lost. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to. These people hate self-reflection and they hate being challenged. That's why they'll go to a certain therapist. They'll only go to the therapist that will reaffirm their own beliefs. And then they'll stay in those therapists forever because their therapist affirmed their beliefs. If they went to another therapist that challenged their beliefs or asked them for own self-reflection or change their behaviors, they would see those therapists as racist, evil fascists. These people will never be challenged on their own belief system because the challenge of their belief system is actually racist because their belief system is completely subjective. And when your belief system is completely subjective and you can base it off of whatever reality you want it to be, you can make up whatever you want. It's a postmodern way of thinking. Everything is subjective. I feel, therefore I am. I think that's a famous quote. I feel, therefore I am. They need to reopen a lot of mental health institutions. I know. Are they confused? Is there a different Charlie Kirk that I'm not familiar with? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't understand who the Charlie Kirk they see. I see Charlie Kirk as like a very moderate conservative. And they're like, Charlie Kirk is literally evil. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. If they think Charlie Kirk is Hitler, they are definitely going to think you're Hitler.
Let this be a lesson to all those other conservative freaks, those little weirdos with podcasts.
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me? A conservative weirdos with podcasts. This isn't a podcast, it's a live show. It's different. It's different. I don't fit the mold. Sorry.
Let this be a lesson to all those other conservative freaks, those little weirdos with podcasts. Just know your necks are on the line. Your necks. No. Your necks.
Oh, so he's threatening violence. Again, here's a guy literally threatening violence against other conservative streamers. And TikTok's like, we need to ban Derek O'Shea because he said something that was meant to be comical and seen as hate speech. Dude, I'm banned on TikTok like all the time. I'm always in timeout. I'm always in like a 24-hour or a week-long timeout. Shot in the neck, shot in the, you're next.
On the line. Your necks. No. Your necks. Hello? Bitch, did you hear Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck? Actually, no, I'm listening to Man Down by Rihanna. State of the world getting so bad, I'm gagging over any fucking thing these days. So, apparently at Utah Valley University, Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Bitch, I don't even know what to fucking say to that one. Except, you got me fucking gagging. Let this...
Where do you live? Saturday show? Okay. Dude, if any dude has a mirror this big, that is... God, dude. That is double... Trump has a Jewish family and Vance has biracial kids. What? What are you talking about? That just seems completely out of context. I'm so confused. Sorry. What a cornball. Total cornball. Okay, and it gets worse. It gets worse. They're not done. Here's this psycho biatch. Listen to her. It's always, look, I used to have thick rimmed glasses at one point in my life. And I knew that it made me look like a leftard. So instead, I got these ones, and I still look like a leftard. That's how I blend into them. They don't know they assume I'm leftist because I have glasses. Okay, here's another psychopath.
By the sword, die by the sword. He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights. By the sword, die by the sword.
God. Dude, freaking nuts, dude. Oh, I can listen to that laugh all day, though. It's a beautiful laugh. It's an absolute beautiful laugh. Joe Biden decided to get in on the Charlie Kirk stuff. There's no place in our country for this kind of violence. It must end now. Jill and I are praying for Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones. And of course, though, the person I was waiting for somebody to write underneath, white supremacy is the greatest threat to democracy, Joe Biden. You're part of the problem, Joe Biden. You're part of the freaking problem, bruh. Her hair indicates poor hygiene. Is that true? I don't know. I don't know how female hair works. Revolutionary Blackout, who's a black preacher, says Charlie Kirk refused to let George Floyd rest in peace. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to mourn him. I will show him the same respect he showed George Floyd. Comparing George Floyd to Charlie Kirk is like comparing apples to lemons. Totally different. But they don't care. You want me to... And here's just a reminder. Here's something Hassan Piker, who's probably one of the Twitch's largest live streamer, decided to take a Tom Cotton tweet. I encourage people to get stuck behind pro-Hamas, mobs blocking traffic, blah, blah, blah. Tom Cotton, who is a sitting representative, and he put how to make a gun from home on a tweet. These leftards are pushing nonstop violence. Jezebel decided to write an article about how they decided they paid somebody on Etsy who's a witch to curse Charlie Kirk. So Jezebel put out an article talking about how we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk, and this literally just came out 2 days ago. And then they put out this statement saying, the story was published on September 8th. Jezebel condemns the shooting of Charlie Kirk in the strongest possible terms. We do not endorse, encourage, or excuse political violence of any kind. Okay, yeah, but you still talked about it. And I think this is where like calmer and cooler heads are. I like this chick, Shoe on Head. She puts a lot of decent videos out. She puts out saying, praying for Charlie Kirk and his family. Charlie Kirk was one of the more moderate right-wing voices out there, but it doesn't matter. They're celebrating. They see you all as the same level. You're all Nazis and you deserve it even for having opinions libs had for 20 years ago. These people are sick. I totally agree. Asmongold puts out a tweet saying, anyone surprised what happened to Charlie Kirk hasn't been paying attention. Go anywhere, Reddit, Twitter, etc., and you'll find thousands of unhinged direct calls for violence over politics. Until it's addressed for what it is, things like this will continue to happen. I agree. Even Ethan Klein on H3 gets really upset over the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and it's kind of nice to see. I mean, he's a left-wing podcaster, so it's nice to see some of these left-wingers have some sort of humanity.
Thought it was horrific. This is not, and well, like I said at the time,
and he has Tourette's, by the way.
And people on the left were even criticizing me. They go, "Oh, Ethan was talking bad about Luigi." How much has he changed? That was my point. He went out and murdered this guy, right? What changed? Not a single fucking thing changed. That's not how we enact change. And so I wouldn't recommend watching the video, but for me, It's terrifying.
It's just nice to see that there's some sort of humanity on that side. Sympathy should be non-denominational, 100%, especially sympathy and empathy. I was expecting you to be activated by her laugh, Derek. I was almost activated. Constantine said this, which I kind of like this a lot, but it's interesting to think about. He goes on the right. The Constantine podcast, I don't know if you guys ever watched those guys. I hope I'm wrong, but tonight feels like some sort of invisible line has been crossed that we didn't know was even there. Last time I felt this was 9/11 when it was clear, without knowing how and what, and that what? When it was clear, without knowing that how and that what, that the world was about to change forever. Like the rules of the game have been permanently altered, and there was simply no going back to the innocent, peaceful past. I didn't feel like this when there was an attempt on President Trump's life. I kind of feel the same way. I was like messed up when Trump's life was, when he was shot at, but it's not the same, probably because it didn't end the same. I didn't feel like this when an attempt was made on President Trump's life. If I had to rationalize why I didn't, it's because several U.S. presidents have been shot at and even assassinated. Somehow it was within the realms of the possibility, no matter how awful. But to murder a young father simply for doing debates and mobilizing young people to vote for a party that represents half of America, this is something else. Charlie's death is a tragedy for his wife and children and his family. I don't pray often. I'm praying for them tonight. But I fear this murder will be a tragedy for us all in ways we only understand as time unfolds. I hope I am wrong. And I'm curious how this thing whole ends. Mike Cernovich goes out and posts, don't let some radicalized shooter take the fall for whatever happened to Charlie Kirk. That's what the far left wing billionaires want. They fund destruction of our country. And then we wave their hands away as if they aren't responsible. They are responsible. I added that last part. Understand that they're the real enemy. I agree with that. Also, the New York Yankees, of all places, decided to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. New York Yankees. I did not see that one coming at all. The New York Yankees put out a post saying, before tonight's game, we held a moment of silence in memoriam for Charlie Kirk. Kirk founded the youth activist group Turning Point USA and had become a fixture of college campuses. Charlie Kirk, a husband, a father, and 2 children, was 31 years old. Don't make me like the New York Yankees. What is going on, dude? What just happened? Well, he actually has the soul. H3H3 has the longest COVID. Is that what it is? Dude, H3H3 used to be awesome. And I think this post really resonates from Charlie Kirk. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of the liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk, and 55% said that the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the nature of the outgrowth of the left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Man, that really freaking resonates, dude. That really freaking resonates. But here's I think to finish off this show, God, 1 minute and 38 minutes. Hope you guys have been processing and enjoying the show. And if you haven't dropped a like, I would greatly appreciate it. But here's like one of my favorite responses from Charlie Kirk regarding our country in which we live. And I think this is just a beautiful tribute and a way to end the stream. As I'll check to see if they actually got the killer yet. I don't see anything. Still don't see anything if they've gotten the guy. Okay, here we go. Or girl.
Our country was founded on common law because the Declaration only refers to God 4 times and the Constitution doesn't refer to God at all. And it only articulates the structure of government.
So first of all, remember that we were a collection of states and colonies. and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. You asked about common law. Well, let's go to 3 principles of common law: presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers. All 3 are biblical principles. So, and all wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, which is the idea of blind justice, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal. Neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ, which you get the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas, but more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal. John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other. The body politic of America was so Christian that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord. One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation, but we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys for always tolerating me and enjoying the times together. Hug your loved ones and remind yourself that the fight continues and that I'm not going away. If anything, like stuff like this emboldens me because I realize the ramifications that come from opening up your mouth, and I hope you guys realize that too. But in the end, it's always worth it to live bravely and not have fear. And it's better to live free than die on your knees, as they always say. You know, it's better to live free than die on your knees, and not be afraid to open up and speak the truth if you deem it so. So they're trying to Uno reverse card trigger us. Doesn't work like that. No, 100%. Thanks for being here, Derek. Hey, thanks, Jessica. I appreciate you. Still sad. Yeah. Great show. Thank you, Derek. Rest in peace, Charlie. Thank you. Your message matters, Derek. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Good night, Yakobed. So good to see you, my friend, on Rumble. Rumble's been a weird thing lately. I apologize if it's been hard to figure out if I'm going live or not. Expose evil, 100%. That's my goal always. Expose evil, mock it as much as possible, because I think mockery is the best form of exposing evil in the whole world. Because that's what makes them so angry. When you mock them or critique them through jokes, man, they hate that crap because it resonates with you and me. Kristen, God. You can't. Jeez. Okay. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Dee, for the great show. Kristen, jeez. Okay, making me blush. All right, have a great day. All right, see you guys later.